Hello, everyone. You know, I always think that every town has its legends and its lore, but I always find the small towns and the small villages, they have the most interesting ones. They have the ones about cryptids and ghosts and other things that you probably won't find in some of the more metropolitan areas. And we're going to discuss one such thing in the book we're going to be talking about today, and it is a doozy. But first, I want to remind you that the pre-order for the book Ooze, Little Bursts of Body Horror, is live. You can pre-order it right now. It's coming out on March 1st, and you can read my story called Got You Too, along with 19 other authors. That's a lot of ooze for not a lot of money. So go ahead and pre-order that one. I also have my books available at a link down below if you want to purchase those. And if you want to check me out first, I have a link down below. You can go to Wattpad and read 4 of my short horror stories absolutely free. So you can check me out first and then decide for yourself if you want to purchase my books. So go ahead and check all those out. Now let's get on with the video. All right. So the book we're going to be talking about today is called Witchopper by Dan Soule. I had the privilege of communicating with him on Twitter last night about this book, and I wanted to know about this legend he's created with this vengeful spirit called the Witchopper, and he told me that it was made up of several. I got something in my eye. But he told me it was made up of several legends in the small towns and villages he grew up in. And he took all those, turned them on its head, and came up with this wholly original legend in a small town, in a small village, and made something absolutely epic and terrifying with it. Because I can guarantee you this book is both epic and terrifying. It does take place in a small town. A family moves there. The father took a job as the editor of the local newspaper. They came from a big city. But in that city, he almost lost his family because of something he did. He was having an affair with someone. The wife found out about it, and he decided to get him out of the city, start fresh in the small town. Yes, it's going to be a pay cut and all that, but he wants to keep his family together. So they moved to this small town, which, of course, is filled with, they have legends and lore. And one of those is about this female spirit who is seeking revenge on anybody she thinks wronged her or is connected in some way to the people that wronged her when she was alive. And the kids even play a game based around this legend, and they even have their own little creepy nursery rhyme when they're playing this game, and it's about the Witchopper. And we're going to find out that some legends are based in truth, and even though most of the town thinks it's just a legend, just a cautionary tale, the father and the son in this story are going to find out that it's very, very real, because once she reveals herself to them, they become cursed and they are marked by her for death. And when she does that, she basically makes their lives a living hell. They have nightmares, they hallucinate things, they can't sleep, and they have an unquenchable thirst to the point where they are drinking so much beverages and so much water that it starts to deteriorate their body. They start having kidney issues at one point because this thirst cannot be quenched. It's torture for both the husband in this story and his son. But of course, nobody else actually believes in this legend, but they know it's real. And in the meantime, the father finds out that just because he moved to a smaller town does not mean his sexual appetites are any better, because he soon starts having an affair with somebody at the newspaper, the very thing he moved there to avoid. And this piece of information will play a pretty big part in the story later on. I'm not going to give anything away, but, that kind of stuff will come back to bite you. So this book has the family drama. It has the relationship issues. It has the boy is being bullied. Excuse me. The boy is being bullied. The father and the mother are still kind of at odds, even though when this new affair begins, she's not aware of it. But they are still trying to communicate and try to renew the relationship after the affair he had back in the big city. So you got all this going on, and then with that added element, knowing that this Witchopper is after them, and they have been marked, and they are suffering the consequences for that. Now there's a mystery, like, why did she choose them? And what, if anything, can be done to stop her? Because there doesn't seem to be a lot of information about her, or about, it's a legend, but nothing that would help them to stop it in any way. So they're all kind of lost under the spell of this avenging spirit. But the interesting thing is, when we read about Mary, the Witchopper, when she was alive, her name was Mary. And when we read the parts about Mary, you are going to feel sympathy for her. You are going to feel almost a righteousness in what she's doing, almost. Because her life was brutal and painful. She got pregnant by a man she thought loved her, but as soon as he found out, he took off. Of course, the women got blamed back then for everything, and he thinks she's either lying and she's been sleeping around, or is no way it's his. And so he decides to leave her for another woman that he considers to be more pure. The man commits a sin, the woman's to blame. But this woman over here, she's not a whore like you, so I'm going to go be with her. That kind of thinking back, as such as it was, and sometimes still is today, But in the meantime, rumors start floating around about her, and I don't want to give anything away, but she is killed. And before she dies, of course, she places this curse on the town and on the people that have done these awful, terrible things to her. And you will feel so much sympathy for her. And then when she shows up later in the book as this ghastly spirit hell-bent on revenge and destruction, especially with men, on the one hand, you really feel bad for her. On the other hand, she's going to try to eat your face off. And so there's these conflicting emotions going on. And even though the father is a philanderer, and he's had these affairs, he's not an entirely bad guy, His actions are deplorable, of course, but he's just as confused and he's just as tore up about it as anybody else would be. So this is a very deep, moving part of the story, and hanging over it all is this curse and this spirit that is trying to kill them. And I'm telling you, this is just an epic folk horror novel. I mean, it's a fantastic book, and it just keeps building and building and building until I just wanted to bust, because I had to find out what's going on. And another thing I really liked is that as the reader, we don't know what's going on until the characters do. As they do research and as they find out certain things about Mary and maybe why she's doing what she's doing, we don't know anything in advance. So we find out with the characters. So their reactions are kind of like ours. It's like, oh, okay, maybe this will help. Maybe we can do something here. And, of course, there will be a final confrontation, and, boy, that thing is filled with action, and it's filled with, Will they die? Won't they die? You just never know, because this author points you in one direction and then sometimes goes the other way, and you never know what to expect. So this book keeps your interest throughout, and I can't say enough good things about it. I highly recommend Witchopper by Dan Soule, and I will leave a link down below where you can purchase your copy on Amazon. Seriously, do it now. You'll thank me later. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time, spending it here with me. I really appreciate you guys watching. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.